Yo, it's hump day, everyone. It's Wednesday, and we are here again to give you more NFL action. My name is Brady. This is Josh. This is Be All In Sports. We're back once again. We're going over the whole slate for Sunday. We're going to do all the games for you. We're going to break them down best we can. We're going to give you our picks, some predictions for these games, how we see these things unfolding. Going to be exciting, people. It's going to be exciting. If you've been following us, you know that we've been hitting at a pretty substantial rate across the board. NBA has been hitting. Had a stinker shit night on MMA this last week, but we're going to get it back this week. Other than that, still winning on all the picks. So winning record across all three of those fight cards. So we'll get it. We just had a bad weekend. It happens. This weekend, we're going to kick some ass on the NFL. We got the My Way Challenge up for Thursday already. So go and check that video out. Like and subscribe these videos. People, help this channel grow. We appreciate you coming back and watching. And let's get right into it, Josh. What do you say, man? You got anything to welcome these fine people in tonight?
Happy hump day, like you said, and stinker shit. That was funny. I like that one. Another one real quick, too, is these lines generally come out early. So the whole point is to stay ahead of Vegas or the odds makers, if you will. So we all want as much information as we can get before we make our bets, of course. But sometimes when you see a line that you like, you're like, that looks a little odd. Hit it. If you're confident in it, do it. Because Brady and I have sat around and talked about bets, whether NBA or not. And we're like, oh, looks good. Look at the line on this. And as we're talking, the line changes dramatically. And it's like, well, now it's not even worth it. And if we would have put it in 10 minutes ago instead of talking about it, we would have got way better odds to where it's worth betting, and then it becomes almost not worth betting. So You see something you like across any sport, man, hit it hard. I mean, don't be dumb about it. We all have our research and our knowledge in our heads. So if you're comfortable with it on a Wednesday, and we don't have injury reports for every team yet, and this and that, we got to get an idea. But get those bets in early if you can and you're confident in them, because it can pay off huge. Very much so. So let's get into this first game. We got the 4-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the 2-8 New York Giants. Yikes, this is a barn burner of a first game. Tommy DeVito, Damon DeVito's younger cousin, taking over the reins in New York. Who knows how that's going to go? I mean, I can say this. The Buccaneers, they're, fighting for a playoff spot. They can still win the division too. It's going to be they should handle the Giants pretty easily, I would think, because the Giants are just a shit show. Let's just be honest. I mean, and the Buccaneers are 10-3 straight up in their last 13 games versus the NFC East. I know it's on the road, but again, you got Tommy DeVito. You would think the Buccaneers can handle this game. DeVito went 3-3 last year. I mean, the one thing is, in this game, the money line, minus 250 on the Bucs. You got the spread at 5.5. Over under is 41.5. You see all the numbers. I don't know. I mean, I think to me, the best bet in this game is probably going to be, believe it or not, I'll take the over under at 41.5. For some reason, I like that because the over under in the last 7 games between these two teams, and we know that, personnel changes, but it's 6-1. So they're hitting over, and they've gone over 42 points a lot between these two teams. It's 4 of the last 5, twice in the last 2 games in New York. Even with DeVito taking over the reins, the Giants still have pieces. You still got Malik Neighbors. The Buccaneers defense is suspect. I think the over-under going over 41.5, I love that bet. Anything else to me is, I don't know, not as safe, if you will. So I'll put money on the 41.5. What about you, Brady?
When my buddy at work today told me that he's like, Daniel Jones has been moved down to practicing with the 4th string.
3rd string. He's 3rd string now.
He said 4th string. So I was like,
it may as well be. I mean, whatever.
It's quite a fall from grace. Honestly, my take on this whole thing is the Giants have called it quits on the season. I think they're pretty much done. I think they're looking for the high draft pick right now, and I think that's the reason you start DeVito. This is not going to go well for him. They don't have anything. Neighbors is your one like bright shining star on that team, and
Right.
nobody can get it to him. So I don't know. Some of the receivers, I think you have talent in the receiving core for the Giants, but unfortunately, you're dealing with a Bucs team that they're deficient too right now. They are struggling themselves on the offensive side of the ball, but in this game, you shouldn't have any problem.
Mike
I
Evans,
don't care.
Mike Evans should be back. Not to interrupt you, but Mike Evans should be back. Ironically enough, the Giants have a lot of sacks on defense, even without Thibodeau.
They still suck.
Yeah, they still suck. Thibodeau's out, might not play. He hasn't played in a while. They still get to the quarterback, but yeah, to your point, the Giants are terrible.
Yeah, I don't honestly. I mean, I don't have too much to say about this game. This is like one that I don't even want to watch it. I don't.
This is true. It's not watchable football.
I'm just hoping they don't put this one on my television station because I'm going to be a little pissed. But this is, like I said, Giants threw in the towel. I honestly, I can't go over the 41.5. I can't get there. I think the only side of the ball that's going to be scoring is going to be Tampa Bay, and I don't think they're going to score 41. I don't think they're going to score 42 points. I think the defense of the Giants is, like you said, they've got their moments, and I think they're good enough to cut back a little bit on the scoring of the Buccaneers in this one, just because they are missing some big-time elements. But I'm leaning on the other side of that 41.5 because I don't see the Giants being able – they can't score shit with Daniel Jones. What makes you think they're going to score with Danny DeVito's cousin? I don't fucking get this one, man. I think, like I said, Giants have thrown in the towel. This is just going through the motions. You may see the head coach kind of act like he's pissed off over there, but inside he's smiling. He knows. Well, I might actually have some competence at quarterback next year if I can get these guys to lose about 6 more games.
He's going to be fired too. And real quick, the reason why I say this, why I go the over, is because the Buccaneers' last game this year versus a team under 500 was against the Saints, and they won 51-27. So they can score even without Godwin. Again, the Giants have nothing. They're benching.
That was with Daniel Jones, who I mean, he showed that he is a more competent quarterback than DeVito. They put DeVito in for a reason. It is to lose games. It is not. They are not trying to win. They're not trying to score. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this play calling is so loaded against him having success. I mean, they pretty much just got to call the shit like they have been, and you got it. To me, this is a joke. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to destroy this team.
It is a joke. I agree. They're going to win this game. I'm still confident in the over 41.5. DeVito, believe it or not, his passer rating last year was 89.5. That's not terrible. And
DeVito had what I would call maybe 1 or 2 decent games, and then he absolutely dropped off a cliff. You know why? Because people didn't know who the fuck he was when he first came on. Now they have some tape, and they're going to absolutely break down this kid and probably destroy him. Might come out with like his missing arm on the right-hand side. I'm not sure, but listen, to me, this is an easy call. I'm not betting this game because I don't find any interest in it.
There is, I agree. I'm saying if you want to bet it, I say the over. Brady says the under. Neither one of us are actually going to. Yeah, we're splitting that one. Neither one of us are actually going to put money on this game. But again, we're all degenerative gamblers. So if you choose to, the safest bet, in my opinion, is the over. Brady's is the under. Let's see how that plays out. We're keeping a tally.
So in that case, since we're not giving you one side or the other, be safe. Just if you're gonna bet it, just take the Bucs.
Yeah, take the Bucs money line, parlay it with something else, and
if you want. I mean, here's something. Move that spread. Move the spread down to minus like 1.5. And if the Bucs can't cover that, they suck too.
That's a good idea, Brady. That's a great idea. Yep. Okay. Enough on this game. On to the next.
Yep. All right, here we go. The next game up, we have the reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs taking on the bottom dwellers, the Carolina Panthers. This is another.
Hey, not total bottom dwellers though. They're actually 3-7. They have more. They won back-to-back games. They got more wins than the Jaguars and the Titans.
That's. Yep.
Who knew? I don't know. Like who knew?
So 9-1 Chiefs taking on the 3-7 Carolina Panthers. -700 on the money line for the Chiefs. A little steep, and we got the +450 money line on the Panthers. -11 spread, over under 42.5. Listen, this is along the same lines as the first game. Look, the Chiefs should completely dominate this team, both sides of the ball, especially after coming off of the little stinker they had last week. You know they're going to be motivated. This is not a team that, in my opinion, the Chiefs will struggle with remotely. I think they'll come in ready to play on this one. A team that's 9-1 taking on a 3-7 team. I think Mahomes is probably going to go off. I think he's probably going to throw 2-3 touchdowns. And I think those receivers that didn't have a very good game last game, Hopkins, this may be the game that you see Schuster. I picked him for 10 yards last game, and he couldn't pull that one off. But I think this is the game when you're going to see a resurgence. I think they're going to easily handle this team. I don't see Carolina even getting close. I honestly, I don't have a lot to say on this one, man. It's another game that, to me, the line's too wide. I don't want to put -700, even though I strongly feel this is not, to me, doesn't ring bells of a trap, doesn't ring bells of, maybe an upset's coming. Nothing like that's going off for me. Yeah. I think this is a straight up, if you want to put a -700 in, which I don't suggest you do it, but if you wanted to, I don't think you're going to lose it. I don't think it's going to be your determining factor of your parlays, if that makes any sense. What I would do is, again, this is one of those bets, mess with the spread. If you're going to bet it, I wouldn't want to bet this one, but -11 spread, I'm pretty sure you could probably move that down to maybe a -7, 7.5 even, and you're still going to get pretty decent odds as far as you would find on DraftKings or FanDuel. So that would be my recommendation if you really want to bet this. Otherwise, my straight up pick, it's going to be the Chiefs. Obviously, I'm definitely not going to pick against the Chiefs when it comes to facing the Carolina Panthers. But what do you think, Josh?
I mean, we've talked about how the Chiefs don't blow anybody out, and they haven't for a very long time. I mean, basically, let's be honest, it's been the last 2 years. Last year was the same thing. They weren't blowing teams out from the get-go. So, but, I mean, against a 3-7 team that's won back-to-back games, I mean, the Panthers have arguably the least amount of talent on paper in the league of any team.
Especially on the defensive side.
Yeah. I mean, I read they're getting one of their defensive players back who is supposed to be helping. The Chiefs do have an issue on the offensive line. But overall, you would think that they should be able to handle the Panthers relatively easily. I don't like the spread. Your idea, take it on to 7.5 is great for betting purposes. I don't like anything in this game. The Chiefs win this game. Now, they should win it handily. However, I will say this, the way we see the Chiefs play, it would not surprise me if the Panthers shock the world and cover the spread. Not win, but cover it. It's the NFL. Chiefs don't blow anybody out, but they should get their blowout their one blowout of the year, first one in a long time against this team. But again, you never know. I'm not touching this game, but Chiefs should win.
Yeah, I know they don't usually blow anybody out, but the way they lost last weekend, that game I think is going to leave a really bad taste in your mouth, especially after you just won 9 straight. So to me, this is that perfect scenario where I think they can and possibly will blow this team out, because when they get going and they're on, and I think this is a fast start game for them. You know what I mean? I think they're going to come out first drive, possibly put 7 up. So, and from there, just the Panthers, once they have a couple drives where they don't convert or maybe go 3 and out, I think it's over. Like you are not going to catch this team again. I think they're going to roll.
Yeah. Yep. And I hope Mahomes does because I got him on fantasy team, so I need a big game from him. The Chiefs need this game too because losing to the Bills last week, if they lose and the Bills win, they're both 9-2. The Bills get home field advantage. Chiefs don't want that. They come out, they roll this game. Again, we're not betting this game, just tossing out the numbers for you. But that's basically all we can say about this game. On to the next.
On to the next.
All right, folks, and the next game up is the 3-7 Dallas Cowboys against the 7-4 Washington Commanders. Boy, what do you say about this game? Did you watch that game on Monday night? Yikes, the Cowboys have fallen apart into a parody of a football team. It is shocking and entertaining to watch, as bad as it is. Even the injuries. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. That sucks. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but double fumbles, fake punts that go nowhere. It's comical. This game is going to be comical too. The Cowboys have nothing. Cooper Rush, get nothing against the guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, but he is not good at footballing. And the only thing in this game is that the 10-point spread is still a divisional game, and we know those spreads don't hit a lot, even with bad quarterback play, whatnot. The Commanders' defense is still kind of wishy-washy. You can run on them. The Eagles proved that. Now, do the Cowboys have the personnel to take advantage of that? I don't think so. So, as much as we love talking about the division games, there's really not much to discuss in this game. 10-point spread. The Commanders win the game. I know the money line is almost the Chiefs, minus 650. Yikes. The over 46 points, it's 2-2 in the last 4 games in Washington in these teams. That's 50-50, and that's mainly with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys at full health. So this is a game that just screams, don't touch. If it's on your TV, watch it and see what errors the Cowboys make, because I'm sure that's going to be entertaining. But other than that, the Commanders are going to win this game. Jaden Daniels is going to have the best game he's had in quite a while. He ran into a tough stretch of defenses. That's going to change. The Cowboys are putting up zero resistance. Again, this is not a game I want to touch with a 10-foot pole for betting-wise, but it's fun to watch the Cowboys flounder.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there. Anytime you can see Jerry Jones sweat through his shirt, it's nice.
Right.
I'm definitely with you. I think this is, just going to kind of watch and see what the Cowboys are going to screw up this game. But honestly, I'm looking at the Washington running game this game, dude. I think they're going to absolutely destroy the Cowboys in this one, man. The Cowboys, they definitely are giving up their fair share of the passing touchdowns. So I think you're not off going with Daniels if you want to take him, but the Cowboys are giving up 18 rushing touchdowns this year. 18 rushing touchdowns this year.
In 10 games?
That's
terrible.
That's ridiculous. It just screams to me, who gives a shit? Put it on one of the running backs. Put it on both of them. Honestly, I don't know.
I wouldn't bet the teams, bet on individual players on the Commanders. You can make a parlay with this with low numbers. They're going to hit all that shit all day long.
Yeah, you got Robinson, who scored all but 2 games this year. That's where I'm going with this game. I'm not gonna go one side or the other betting wise. Although yes, I'm definitely gonna take the Washington Commanders to win this game. I think even though the Cowboys have been showing that kind of, hey, we're pissed and we need to, at least if we don't win, we need to come close type, they've got that attitude. So I could definitely see it staying within the 10, but something is telling me that it won't, just because the Cowboys are continuously finding ways to turn it over to the other team and just make it that much more easy on them. They're not making it difficult on people to beat them.
Right. and they don't have the personnel to keep up. Now, I mean, on defense, they're getting a little healthier. Parsons came back. So, yeah, they can create some problems. But, again, as far as betting the game, the over-under spread, money line, it's just not worth it to me. There's better value in other games than there is in this game. But definitely knock out some parlays, some my ways. I'm sure Brady might cook up a my way for this game because there's lots of stuff to be had on the Commander side, I think.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, the game, the Commanders win. If you want to bet it, again, there's nothing in this game that appeals to me at all.
Like I said, the only thing that appeals to me in this game is the Brian Robinson touchdown.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, and you're probably not going to get great odds on it. It's going to be it might even be that one that's like minus 175. I don't know, but
for a touchdown of minus 175.
Yeah, it's going to be up there. I think it's going to be with like Derrick Henry type odds that you see, where I mean every game minus 200 or more almost for him to get a touchdown. I'll check here what it is, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see something that is, it's bettable. Yeah. I mean, he's minus 135. So again, if I'm going anywhere, it's going to be that. Yeah. I'm going to take a Robinson TD bet most likely, but just like Josh said, this is screaming out something on the Washington side as far as putting in a my way parlay. But I am very careful with these things. I want to try and take minimal legs and get you to that plus 100. So I will definitely go through this game, but that's ultimately where I'm going. If I can get less legs in there that I feel confident with, and I can put those in and get you to that plus 100. I don't know if this is a game that I could actually do it, just for the simple fact that it's going to be heavily favored towards Washington, which is the side that I would take those pieces on. So we'll see what comes out, but definitely taking Washington on this one. Again, perfect opportunity, I feel, in order to move that spread down just a little bit. Put it, if you're not comfortable with a minus 10 spread, which is pretty steep, put it down to minus 5.5, minus 6, 6.5, somewhere in that, that ballpark. You're going to get better odds, and I still think it happens. So, yeah, ultimately, I think we're both in agreement here. Washington is going to take this one handily.
Yeah, moving along, nothing to see here.
All right. Next up, we have the 3-8 New England Patriots taking on the 4-6 Miami Dolphins. Minus 340 money line on the Dolphins, plus 270 money line on the Patriots. Got a plus 7 spread on the Patriots there. Over under is set at 45.5. I got a good take on this one, Josh. One, Drake May, yes, showing improvement. The Dolphins did have quite a losing streak, but it was all without Tua. And I'm struggling to see how the Patriots are going to keep up with the Dolphins in this one. I think the Dolphins are a team that, to me, they're going to score a lot of points in this game. I don't think the Patriots defense. I'm going to be honest. Patriots suck. Plain and simple, suck. I don't give a shit how close they get in their games. They're not playing good teams when they do this. The Dolphins, I'm not saying are the greatest team, but with Tua and at home, that factors in. They score at home. Tua is a very viable quarterback when he's got his weapons going. And this, even though it's a division game, I don't think the Patriots. I mean, maybe they keep it within that 7 spread, but I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I think Tua is going to be too much for their defense, and I am always going to go against a rookie quarterback when they've had 4 or more starts in the NFL, because, like all rookies, you will stumble. You are never going to have a spectacular rookie season. In my eyes, you can have, I've seen some that have better than others, but let's be honest. Eventually, when you get enough tape, they break you down, and this is no different to me. This is going to be a breakdown game for Drake May. I think he's probably going to throw, I don't know, 35, 40 times. That's what he's used to, but not going to hit 300 again. And I think it's going to be a bad night. I think they're going to end up breaking him down. I'm going to stick with it all year long. I don't like the Patriots coaching. I think their coaching is young and makes a lot of mistakes. I don't think it's up to par. Even though I'm not huge on Mike McDaniels, I don't think this is a contest again, even though it's in the division. I think the Patriots are going to get stomped. I'm going to go Dolphins definitely. Again, these are games that I don't really want to bet because I don't want to watch it. I don't see anything exciting about this game. The individual players don't excite me. I don't have a lot of numbers that I want to put out there on them. So in this instance, yeah, I think Dolphins win this game handily. That over 45.5. Nah, I don't think they get there. I'm going to say Dolphins 28 to 28-10. I'll give them 10 points. But yeah, I'm going Dolphins straight up on this. I don't think the Patriots have the firepower. I don't believe in Drake May yet. Maybe give it some time. Maybe he gets to game 10 and still looks decent. I'll plan on watching him more for next year. But this year, I think he's going to have some stumbles along. We just talked about Jaden Daniels, this and this and this and this and this and how good he is. He just got beat 2 games in a row. Okay. Drake May's going to get beat a lot more than that. So, yeah, Dolphins all the way. Josh, what you say?
Well, the Jaden Daniels reference, I mean, he got beat by the Eagles, who are on fire right now. The Dolphins.
A win's a win.
Well, it's true.
I can say the same thing about the Dolphins. They're on fire since Tua came back. They're scoring more points.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to your point, you can kind of toss out the previous numbers for both these teams throughout the year so far because, yeah, Drake May wasn't the starter and Tua missed a lot of time. So it's, again, that creates too many variables to even think about betting on this game because it's a crapshoot division game. If both quarterbacks had played all 11 games or 10 games in the Dolphins scenario, then you got a lot more numbers to work with. It's just been too up and down because they've missed time and this and that. Other guys have been hurt. Tyreek's banged up, still playing. I mean, I will say this. The last game was 15-10, for whatever that's worth. I mean, like, okay. Again, they're not even having the same quarterbacks or anything. The Patriots, though, can run the ball at a good amount. Ramondre Stevenson has been playing very well recently, last 4 weeks. Been kind of on a tear, as far as fantasy-wise goes. And moving the ball, the Dolphins are susceptible on the ground. They got a great passing defense. They give up 199 yards through the air per game, which is very good. That's like third best in the league. So they can definitely, suppress the passing game. And Drake May is a rookie. Again, there's really nothing in this game that catches my eye or, catches my fancy, if you will, except for maybe the spread in the division games, 7 points. I mean, if you're feeling froggy, I do believe the Patriots keep this game close. I don't agree with Brady. I think Drake May has brought a new element to the Patriots offense. He's a little underrated. Yeah, the Dolphins have a good passing defense, but I still think the game's close. I kind of agree with him on the over-under. I don't think they get to 46 points. I mean, it's only happened twice in the last 9 games against these two teams. Now, granted, both those games happen to be in Miami, and we all know that the Patriots have not had a quarterback for the last 5 years since, I don't know, who was the last quarterback that won 7 Super Bowls? I can't remember his name. Oh, yeah, your last name, your cousin. So, long story short, again, this game is not something I would touch. If you want to, I actually feel pretty confident if you wanted to take the points, the +7 with the Patriots, I would actually pick that. Anything else? No. I mean, again, I'm glad it's not going to be on my TV because I'm in the Midwest, so I won't get this shit game.
Very true. Let me just point this out, too. In the last 4 games, the Dolphins are averaging almost 28 points a game.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, how many points have the Patriots scored in a single game all fucking year? Oh, yeah. 25 is your max.
25 is the max, huh?
When you aren't scoring 25 points in at least 2 games this year, yeah, I don't think you're going to hold up against the Dolphins. Sorry.
Hey, but they scored 22 last week. So if they can get to 21 and then the Dolphins actually get to their 26 or 27 they've been averaging, they hit the 46. So I'll take that back. I still believe the Patriots cover the 7 points, and I'll take the over.
All right. I'm gonna take the under 45.5, and I'm definitely on the Dolphins. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend doing this, but if you want to get real fucking frisky, I'd take the spread and I'd put it minus 10 for the Dolphins. I think this team is going.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna get decent odds if you put it up to minus 10 because it's probably already sitting at minus 110. It's probably a pick 'em at the over under 7. Mm-hmm. So move it up a little bit. I think Dolphins cover the spread. I think they beat the shit out of the Patriots. That's the way I'm going. But
disagree with that one.
We're gonna see. Either way, I think the Patriots still suck ass, and I'm gonna say that all year.
Oh, trust me, it puts a smile on my face to say the Patriots are terrible.
Yep,
nothing makes me happier in life.
Smiling from ear to
very
ear.
Few things. All right.
On to the next.
All right, so now we're on to the 2-8 Tennessee Titans versus the 7-4 Houston Texans. This game, there's some weird numbers on, not going to lie. So the spread is Titans +8. The Texans are 6-1 in the last 7 games against the spread versus Titans. But 8 points is a big spread in a divisional game, in my opinion. We've been harping on this a long time. The Titans have some pieces. I know Will Levis is like very entertaining at quarterback. We'll put it that way. To be nice, but he can make some plays. And it's not like the Titans are, akin to the Panthers where they have no talent. The Titans have some talent. Their defense isn't terrible. They do have Calvin Ridley. They got a couple other weapons on the offense. The Texans' offensive line is not good at all. They're having protection issues a lot. So this is another division game that we all get excited about. But this week, they're all kind of – there's not really much to say. It's bad teams versus a good team or 2 bad teams. So I'll say this. The Titans have won the last 3 in this match, in this series. The Texans are going to win this game. Hands down, they definitely win this game. I would feel really confident, though, if you wanted to put the bet on the Titans to cover the 8-point spread. Because the Texans also have some problems on defense. The Cowboys game last week, the Cowboys are just a complete shit show. And the Titans are a little bit better, if you will. Their games have been more competitive than the Cowboys have. So they're going to put up more of a fight against this Texans squad. And I feel very confident the Titans cover this spread, but the Texans win the game. What about you, Brady?
Yeah, that's a pretty good take. But I was just looking at this. Okay, the Titans honestly haven't covered this spread very much this year. But guess who they did cover it against, Josh?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was maybe the Texans. No,
it was the Patriots, actually.
Patriots, oh yeah. Yeah, they haven't played yet. We watched some. There's so many games I can't keep track of them all.
I just had to bring that up. I know that, man. If there's any Patriots fans, they're gonna hate my ass. But that's all right because I'm a Colts fan.
You're killing our Boston audience here, dude. What are you doing?
Sorry, I do. Hey, I picked the Celtics the other night. God, give me some credit.
Okay. Different sport.
Yeah, I do think that this definitely is a Texans win here. But, I mean, I do agree with you a little bit on that spread because for the simple fact that the other game that they did – this hurts too. The other game they did cover against was the Colts. So,
I was like,
you know,
the Colts. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
And,
right.
you know, well, I mean, and the Jets. So,
yeah,
but
the Jets.
It was
good Lord.
They did it by a lot in the Colts game. But
I covered
anyway,
against the Jets.
Yeah, covered your face.
Right.
You know, this is one of those. Again, you said it earlier. This week has a lot of teams, good teams facing some pretty bad teams, and it, you know, in more instances than not, that is the way you go in these. But there's going to be some weirdness somewhere this week. There's going to be some weirdness. So, like one way or another, it's going to be a little bit messed up for some team. But I don't think this is the one. Also, looking at the, you know, obviously the Titans haven't won a lot, period. But they have won one game on the road. But again, Texans playing at home. You know. I can't
Texans win. I just think this is akin to the Ravens and the Browns a few weeks ago. The Browns are terrible too.
I would. There is a bet that I might think about in this one, and it is going to be Will Levis to throw the interception. That I think is something that'll happen.
But it's probably minus 800 though.
I don't know if it would be that tight, but I think that's going to happen at some. I mean, he's going to have to throw a lot, I think, at some point in the game. I don't think that the Titans are really going to. They haven't had much of a run game all season, so I don't look for it to explode in this one by any means. And it's going to be a game that I think they're going to be forced to throw, and I don't think he's going to be afraid to because what do you got to lose? So I think this is a perfect recipe. I'm probably going to bet him to throw an interception. And you may get, I don't know. It's probably going to be something that's like minus 135 or something. And I'll think about it at that because I don't know if I want to test it there. Miracles happen. But I think for the most part, this is Texans and Will Levis interception. But I'm going to stay away from the spread just because I agree with you, but then I kind of don't agree with you.
Yeah.
So then I'm kind of stuck in the middle. So I'm just going to go my own way.
Trust me, I don't really agree with myself a lot of times either. I just know how the NFL works in these spreads, and you said it perfectly. Weird shit happens in the NFL.
And plus, I already picked the Dolphins to cover that spread. So I can't do it with two divisional games.
Exactly, especially with these divisional games, man. It's rare you get a weekend of games where it's division games that you have so many of them are, 7 and above spreads one way or the other. I mean, we're on the Cowboys, Commanders, the Finns and Patriots, and now this game, they're all 8-point spreads. One of these teams is going to cover.
You want to know
which one you feel is going to do it.
Honestly, this is another one. If you have wide spreads in division games, this is your perfect opportunity because you're probably going to get that +8 at minus 110, minus 115, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. So this is the perfect opportunity because if we're telling you that it's not going to hit the +8 and we question that, if you question it, then take that spread and move it up to like 6 to 7, 8 points higher. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit steep, but in most instances, you're probably going to hit that bet.
Yeah.
If this is a good bet to you, the +8, then why would +13 not be?
Exactly.
So do something like that. Or if you want to move it up +10.5, +11.5, it's not going to be terrible odds. Stop it, cap it. What I always do is if I'm putting together a parlay, a lot of times I'll cap it. I'll put I won't go above minus 200 for this parlay. I won't go above minus whatever for this parlay. So it just layer it, however you want to layer it. But yeah, we're both in agreement, Texans. We'll get on to the next game before we exhaust it. Here we go. Okay. This one's gonna break my heart. So a little background. I've been a Colts fan for a very, very, very long time now. Huge Peyton Manning fan, my favorite quarterback. But they've had a little bit. I used to have two teams. Always my AFC team, which was always the Colts, and then my NFC team, which when I was living in the Midwest, it was the Rams. So that was my team. I didn't jump the bandwagon to the Chiefs or anything like that, staying in that own region or state. I just instead went my one team. I've also, since childhood, been a Barry Sanders fan. He's been my favorite running back. I think he's the best running back of all time. So that's where that little Lions connection. And plus, I have Josh, I don't know if you were like this as a kid, but I always loved the decals, the uniforms, the emblems. They just drag you in. So freaking always loved the Lions. So yeah, this one's going to break me down a little bit. We've got the 9-1 Detroit Lions going and facing the Indianapolis Colts 5-6, plus 280 on the money line for Indy, minus 360 for Detroit, -7 spread. Again, we got that big spread, the over under 49.5. Man, even though the Colts showed a lot of heart last game, and at any given moment, let's be honest, Richardson he looks spectacular. And then other times he looks like a bomb went off and you have no clue what you're going to get next. I've seen the most erratic passing at times from him this year, some what I consider to be pretty bad decision-making. But then I've also seen him at times look like
the best quarterback there is.
Yeah, the best, dual threat type quarterback doing it at a high level that I've ever seen. So it's too sporadic for me to pick a team right now at 5-6 when you're just coming off of a game. And we just talked about this not too long ago, where a team comes and kind of exasperates themselves getting a win, and then the next game they don't look like that team anymore. It's hard to keep up that type of rhythm, and I think it's going to be extremely hard to keep up that type of rhythm against Detroit, who is coming off of a game that they just absolutely waxed the Jaguars. What can you say? Every facet of their offense was running top notch at that point. The run game, killing it. The passing game, they didn't need to, but they destroyed them. They could have sat back there and handed it off all day long. But this game, to me, you have to go Lions. I can't pick the Colts as much as it's hard for me to pick against either team, and I'm definitely not betting this game. I'm not betting this game, so you guys do what you want. Whoever wins, may the best team win on this day, and this may be the weirdness. I don't know. This may be the weirdness that we're talking about. I could definitely see that. You got the home team. Indy, they play good at home. It's going to be loud as shit in that place. And the Lions, they are used to that type of, scenario. But I don't know. I got to go Lions, but ultimately I'm going to stay away from this game. I think this is a perfect game to possibly pick that over 49.5, even though a little tough for me to get there with the Lions, how they scored last week. But, man, they look pretty unstoppable. And the Colts, let's be honest, they give up a lot in the running game. And I don't know how they're going to stop this one. So you got to go Lions. It's an obvious choice. But this is a game that I am absolutely, because I'm not going to take a side, and there's no bad thing about picking some parlays in it. So absolutely we'll have something with this game. I will guarantee you that.
Okay, Switzerland. Honestly, the best bet in this game for real is the over-under at 49.5. I mean, both these teams are going to score points. The Lions have a really good defense, but if Anthony Richardson's on his game, and at home he usually is, he plays pretty well. Nobody thought he was going to go on the road last week and play as good as he did against the Jets. I know they've checked out on the year, but that's still not an easy environment, and he looked good. mean, he was completing passes to wide receivers. He was actually good at the throwing of the football, which, again, last time we checked, is pretty important for a quarterback. So the thing I feel most confident in is definitely over-under. I have a little bit of stats here. Now, these teams don't play very often. It's only been like 5 times in the last 20 years. So you're talking about Peyton Manning and Matt Stafford days. But the Colts have won 4 of the last 5 meetings. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Colts have won 4 of the last 5. The Lions, they're tied for the NFL best with a 9-1 record straight up. And they're 8-2 against the spread this year. I mean, and 4 of the last 5 games between these two teams has gone over 51 points. And 1 hit 50. So every game these two teams have played in the last 20 years has hit 50 points. Mm-hmm. So that tells me that's a lock bet. I mean, if you want to do a lock of the week, that's it. Hammer that over 49.5 points. And to who wins and loses, the Lions are 9-1. Goff had a bad game on the road against Houston 2 weeks ago. I mean, realistically, how many games do we think the Lions are going to lose this year? I say most teams lose 3 or 4, even the best teams. Can they go 15-2? Yeah, but I think 14-3 is more likely. In their upcoming schedule, they got at home against the Bears. Okay, we know who wins that one. At home against the Packers. That's kind of a toss-up there. I mean, if you think Green Bay can win, all right, but, you know, and then they
didn't have last time.
Yeah, what?
They didn't the last time.
Exactly, and that was in Green Bay. And then they played the Bills at home. Can definitely say the Bills can win that game. Probably, I wouldn't mind it being a Super Bowl preview, if you will. And then on the road against Chicago, and then they finish off at San Francisco. So I can see, again, to the weirdness of the NFL, the Colts winning this game. Don't feel comfortable betting it, but I feel very, very confident betting the over on this. And, like, I'm not saying bet your mortgage on it, but bet on it. It's going to hit.
Yeah. Don't bet your mortgage.
No, but bet it. And, like, if you want to put 2-3 units on it, whatever your unit is, I'd even put 5 units on it. Because it's going to hit over.
This would be in what I call a max bet. Are you max betting this one? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would max bet the over on this for sure. Absolutely.
Okay. This would be one of those that, like I said, I'm not betting a side, obviously, but the parlays, I think there's a lot of them. I think they're going to be there. I'll put that one together and.
We're doing parlays. We're doing parlays for this game because there's going to be a lot of offense on this game.
Yep, totally agree there. Well, that's it. We're both, there's our picks, but we'll hit this next one. Let's go.
All right, and now we're on to the 8-2 Minnesota Vikings versus the 4-6 Chicago Bears. Another division game. Again, big winning record versus, under 500 team. This one feels a little different, though. Earlier in the year, the Vikings were on a tear, and I thought they were probably going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. Their record states it. They are. But they've kind of fallen off. Sam Darnold has become Sam Darnold that we all know and love. We can't have nice things because he turns the ball over a whole lot. And these over-under spread money line is very intriguing. So here's some numbers for you. The under is 7-3 in the last 10 games for the Vikings. And it's 8-1. I'm sorry, under is 4-1 in the last 5 games for the Bears. 39.5, division game, outdoors in Chicago. I say the under hits in this game. And also, the Bears are 8-1 against the spread at home in the last 9 games. The spread is 3.5. The Bears cover this spread, and I'm going to go on a limb and say they win this game. For some reason, they showed some life last week against the Packers. The new OC unlocked some things. You can throw on this Vikings defense. You can't really run on them, but you can throw on them. They're going to blitz Williams and make him feel uncomfortable, but he got the ball out of his hands a lot quicker last game. Much more of a rhythm offense as opposed to letting him sit back there and take sacks because the Bears have offensive line issues, obviously. So I really like the Bears in this game, believe it or not. So the under, I love it. I think the Bears win the game. I would bet them to cover the spread, though, for sure. What about you, Brady?
Oh, man. Well, one, I think the Vikings win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of interested to see what's going to happen with the whole coaching change because they did look better this last game. So I don't know if it was kind of a fluke, oh, let's get the first win, it'll look spectacular type thing. But I kind of, when the Bears played the Packers earlier, they ended up winning. It was either 3 or 2 points. And then same thing. Let me see. What did I see? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Get it together, Brady. Get it together. Come on.
Yeah. The division games do usually stay close. But I got to consider who was playing who. You know what I think? And I'm sorry. It was the Vikings that had these close games. I don't think the Vikings are on, or I don't think the Bears are on par with the other divisional opponents in this realm yet. Maybe this is the game that changes my mind, but we've already had 2 close games within the division for the Vikes, and I think that this, unfortunately, is going to be a little bit further than that. It's going to be a little bit more spread out, in my opinion. I think it's going to be I think they're going to get just over it, quite honestly. I think it'll be 4 or 5. But I think that the Vikings do win this game, and I think they will cover that 3.5 spread. Just because, again, Vikings can stop the run. So far this year, they're very good against the run, and you're taking away an element, and you're forcing, again, a rookie quarterback who, he has not shown us yet that he is – one, he hasn't shown that he's consistent from game to game. And, I don't know where it's going to start. I think he's made a lot of rookie mistakes. He continues to make a lot of rookie mistakes. And I think in this one, it's going to be more of the same, even though the Bears are at home, a little bit tougher at home. There's something weird about that field to me, too. I have no idea what it is. Everybody looks slow. Every time I see a game there, it looks like they're trudging around in grass that is above their cleats. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah. I never understand what it is about that. The only person I've ever seen look killer in Soldier Field to me is well, obviously Walter Payton, but Adrian Peterson.
That wasn't grass.
What? Oh, that
he didn't play in grass. It was turf.
That's right. Well, Adrian Peterson absolutely tore the Bears up. So
but that's the thing, though. The Vikings are an indoor team, and playing outdoors, they've had their issues this year. They went to Green Bay and stomped Green Bay. Green Bay came back, made it closer, but that game was way out of reach. It was a lot. The final score, the game was not that close. The Packers had a great fourth quarter. That was in better weather. Now you're in colder weather. We're in the Midwest. It's going to be probably 45, 55 degrees tops. I haven't looked at the weather report yet. I just don't think in you say rookie quarterback, I get that. But remember, on the other side is Sam Darnold, who's been having serious issues not turning the ball over the last month. And the Bears defense is not that bad. They can hang, and they have good cornerbacks. I know they got JJ, but like you said, the turf's going to slow JJ down. I see the Bears winning this game and under 39.5 points to me. I don't know. We'll see what's happening, though. It's going to be a great game.
Oh, so you're taking the Bears?
Yeah. I think the Bears cover. I think they win. The Vikings are 8-2,
but
they
taking the spread. I missed the.
no.
missed
I think the Bears actually win the game, and then
Ah.
it's under 39.5 points. I think it's going to be like 17-13. It's going to be a knock 'em out, drag out, old NFC North, bang up game.
I definitely think that I'm going on the under the 39.5 myself, but no, Vikings.
You can't do it. I can't do it, right?
Vikings win this game. I don't care if they're trudging around in quicksand. I don't care if it's rubber.
Yeah, I'm on a limb.
I don't think the Bears win.
I'm on a limb. Like I said, the Vikings are 8-2, man. How many games do they win this year? It's probably going to be 11 or 12, man. They're going to lose one of these tight games they've been winning. They barely beat the Jaguars on the road, 12-7. That's horrible.
I think they're going to have more issue with the upcoming divisional games. I think this is the one they get.
All right. Well, we disagree on this one too. All right, then. Let's see what happens. Agree to disagree. You're wrong.
On to the next.
On to the next.
All right. Here we go. The Denver Broncos 6-5 going to see the Las Vegas Raiders. We got the Raiders is that a 2-8?
It is
2-8. Oh,
it is.
Ooh. All right. Plus 200 on the money line, minus 240 for the Broncos. Broncos minus 5.5 on that spread. Over under 41.5. That's interesting to me right there.
Right.
This one breaks down in my eyes. And just to remind everybody too, I did tell you last week, look out for Bo Nix coming out this last weekend, because out of all the games that he's probably going to look like a superstar quarterback, this is his time to shine. And the guy definitely put it on him. 28 for 33, 307, and 4 touchdowns, no picks. This guy looked like a quarterback. I mean, for real, that was impressive. Bo Nix, very, very, very impressed. Again, Atlanta, that's not an easy team to do that to. Again, I mean, I did say that you can pass on Atlanta, and he did pass on Atlanta. He definitely went off. And I got to be honest, this may be another game that we see him look good, but I think it's going to be a little bit different story. I think it's going to be a little bit more adversity this time, believe it or not. These two teams are division opponents again. Here we are again. And, they kind of they have some close games. And I think this could be another one. Broncos are on a roll right now. Their defense is top notch. They have a lot of things going right now. The running game is strong. I do think the Broncos are going to get this done, but I think I'm going on the under 41.5, because the Broncos, while they can just unload, again, this is a division opponent, and I think this is going to be a little bit of that weirdness where I think this one could be one of those closer games where you don't really expect it, the way the Broncos have been rolling and the Raiders kind of just sliding by a little bit. But I think this is going to be a little bit closer. So I will go that under 41.5, just because I don't think they're going to score a ton of points on either side this game. Again, Bo Nix, even though you had such a spectacular game the last game, let's be honest, I think it's going to be a little bit more on the regular side of what we're used to seeing. Still going to have a decent game, I think. But I don't think it's going to be what we saw last week. But I think we win this game. Denver's going to win this game. What do you say, Josh?
I agree with you that Denver wins the game. I mean, they snapped an 8-game losing streak versus the Raiders last year. So that was, you don't see that very often. It happens. But now they're on the up and up, and Bo Nix is coming into his own. Believe it or not, the over has hit. The Broncos are 5-2 in the over in the last 7, and the Raiders are 5-1 in the last 6 on the over. Now those over and unders, fluctuate obviously, but 41.5 seems like a low number to me. The Broncos have a great defense, so the Raiders aren't going to score at all. I mean, they may put up 13, 14 points, and they're going to struggle with that. I think the Broncos are going to have no issue putting up points because Bo Nix is coming into his own. We're now past the midway point of the season, and Sean Payton has that offense on a roll, and especially against lesser competition. Last week, I know the Falcons have a good record, but their defense is not great. They have 0 pass rush. I have as many sacks as most of the guys in their defense does, and as many quarterback pressures. And I don't even play football. So, and the Raiders are kind of the same way. They can't get to the quarterback. Max Crosby's great, but he's a one-man show. Other than that, they have nobody else. I think the Broncos roll and put up 30 points on these guys. So the 41.5 points means the Raiders got to get to like 12, 13 points. And the 5.5 point spread usually would scare me off, but the Broncos right now are a playoff team. They're in the playoffs, and their defense is legit. So they can definitely get a pick 6 from Gardner Minshew. He loves doing that. So I think the Broncos roll, and you go the over on this one.
Okay. All right. I'm still going to take the under on this. Again, I think this is Sunday weirdness. And I think the Bo Nix coming off such a great game. This is a proving point. This is a proving point.
Yeah,
honestly.
There is a letdown.
Do it 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
And continue that type of scoring. But, I don't know. I think when a team does that, it pumps you up. If you're the Raiders right now, you have to be psyched knowing that you can come in and play spoiler. You can come in and be like, nah, I don't think so. Like, it's not going to go down like that. And I think they are a team that has a little grit. Gardner Minshew has grit. That's one good thing about that guy. I'll give him that. He's a gritty quarterback. And
true.
I don't think they score a lot of points either, but I also don't think that the Broncos in this one score a lot of points either. That's why, for me, this game sits at I'm going to say like 17-7. That's where I see this game going. I don't see it being a high-scoring game to me. You've got some really good teams that haven't scored on the Raiders or haven't scored on the Broncos. I don't think the Raiders are going to be the team that actually busts out on them. And while the Broncos can, I don't think they're going to be up to the task to score, 40-something points again. I don't think it's fair.
I think they dropped 20. I think they dropped 20 to 30, and the over hits.
Let's do it. It might. We'll see this weekend. On to the next.
Okay, and now we're gonna go to the frozen tundra of Lambeau, where the 7-3 Packers go off against the 5-5 mediocre San Francisco 49ers, reigning NFC champions. This game to me has Packers written all over it. Niners just so eat up, and they've lost, I think, at least 3, if not 4 games on the last drive of the game. Pretty sure I read a stat that they've given up the most points in the last 2 minutes of games and halves. They're just beat up. Now Brock Purdy's nursing a sore shoulder. So I love the Packers in this game. There's a lot of history between these two teams, and anything can happen. The Niners they're just too many injuries. McCaffrey's playing, but Brady, if I were to tell you a stat, guess this. How many missed tackles has McCaffrey forced since he's came back?
I'm going to say, let's see. 12?
2.
Really?
2. And he's getting 3.1 yards per carry. Jordan Mason was getting 5.1. So McCaffrey's back, but obviously his Achilles injuries, tendonitis, whatever you want to call it, is hindering him. The Niners just beat up all over the place. Bosa's hurt. Samuel's hurt. Ayuk's out. Kittle's hurt. I mean, the list goes on and on. The Niners just don't have enough to come from the West Coast to the Midwest and hang with the Packers. The Packers need to win. The Niners do too. They just don't have enough. And Purdy's shoulders hurt. How effective is he going to be throwing the ball? So I obviously looked at all the numbers in this games. I can give you all their numbers against the spread and the record against each other the last 8 games and this and that, which obviously personnel changes on every team. So those things can, there's variables there that are in play. I think the Packers win this game. I think they cover the 2.5 spread. And I think the game is under 47.5.
All right. Yeah, I was looking over the injury list. It is that Jacobs is limited in practice right now too for Green Bay. So kind of monitor that situation. But even at that, Emmanuel Wilson he looks like he could be just as easily
he's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine. It kind of looks like a Jordan Mason situation, honestly, where and that is one thing that it's last week I did put McCaffrey in some parlays for that My Way challenge that I was doing just on the side bets. And this week, I have the same feeling. Like I don't want to do that, even though he hit everything that I was needing. But I don't know. I kind of am a little bit leery of this injury return here just a little bit. Yeah. And I don't want to pick him and then he gets injured on the first couple plays, and next thing you know, it's Mason's show the rest of the game. And he does exactly what I thought McCaffrey was going to do. But same thing here too. 49ers give up so much at the end of a game and have blown so many games at the end this year. And that's exactly what Green Bay does. It's like they kick it into another level in the second half on a lot of the games. And even when you think that they're in trouble, it's like they remain calm and they just get it done. And that's exactly what I expect them to do again this time. Yep. I agree with you too. I think they're going to cover the 2.5 spread. There could be a surprise, but I don't. Everything that I'm seeing, there's no surprises coming from this one.
Yep. Super Bowl hangover. Niners are just kind of done. They're going to be finished behind the Cardinals. It happens. They're a great team. They're just injured. It just happens to teams that play a lot of football. McCaffrey's are the same. Nobody on that team is the same. It's affecting them from top to bottom. And the Packers beat them in the playoffs last year anyway. So, I mean, it's going to happen again on the Packers home field. So
the roster on paper looks amazing, but if you can't keep them healthy, which is exactly what's happening to them this year, they're just not healthy. They haven't been all year, and it's continuing on. But there you go. We'll move on to the next game. All right, continuing on, we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Seattle Seahawks, the Battle of the Birds. Cardinals 6-4 versus the Seahawks 5-5. Money line, pretty close. -115 for the Seattle Seahawks, -105 for the Cardinals. +1 spread over under 47.5. +1 on the Cardinals side, by the way. Man, this is going to be a good one. I'm excited for this match.
Me too.
And I wasn't a fan necessarily right at the beginning because I didn't know kind of what to expect. But, I'm really liking watching Kyler Murray again. I think he's a fun quarterback to watch. He's got some – I also like Trey McBride. That dude –
That's moxie.
Yeah. That dude is a stud. He is continually – he's pretty much the most targeted player there in that, he is the go-to guy right now. And the Seattle Seahawks, when they're going up against opposing, good tight ends, they tend to have a little lapse. And he is the one that is definitely going to he's gonna play a part in that. And they've also given up 15 passing touchdowns on the year. I see this as a perfect game for it. I think it's a high-scoring game. I know the 47.5 is high-scoring, but listen, the Cardinals don't stop teams, and teams don't stop them. So I think I can definitely see them scoring like 25 or 28, 35 points. And the Seahawks, I think, are going to do the exact same thing. I think this is a perfect recipe for a high-scoring matchup. So I think even though I do consider it pretty high, 47.5 I don't think is that high of a number for this particular matchup. Unless there is, and I haven't checked the weather report, unless there's something I don't know come up about the weather, which that could be a factor. I'm not going to lie. And from everything that I'm seeing, it's, game time is going to be about 50. I don't see any weather factors that are going to affect this game too much. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring contest. I'm going to lean towards who I think can score more points in this battle, and I think it's going to be, even though I don't like taking teams going to Seattle, I think this is a game that the Cardinals can win. I think Trey McBride is definitely going to be a big factor in this game. I'm going to be looking at him for parlay bets. I'm going to be looking at him in the My Way Challenge. But I think Cardinals get this done. But just to be safe, I will take that +1 spread for the Cardinals on this. What do you say?
I like the +1 spread. I'll actually go one further. I'll put the -105 money line. I love that bet because the Cardinals defense, I mean, it's kind of like the Commanders defense where people are saying, oh, they can't, they're bad. But when you look at their previous games, the numbers really don't support that. Yeah, the Commanders got run on last week against the Eagles. That happens, especially in the second half. But the Cardinals have been shutting people down. Their defense has come to play a lot more often than not. And they've also lost 5 in a row to the Seahawks. The Seahawks have not been world beaters, man. Let's be honest. They've been good, but they have not been like the super team. So for them to beat the Cardinals 5 games in a row is kind of not gonna keep going, if you will. That's an anomaly, in my opinion, because they've been similar in talent with similar quarterbacks, talent at the quarterback position and in the rest of the positions too. So they weren't that much better than them. It just variance happens. So I think the Cardinals flip that script. They go to Seattle, make the 12th man their bitch, and win this game. I would bet the money line in this game all day long in the Cardinals' favor. The over-under, I agree with Brady. I love the over on this one because as good as I'm saying the Cardinals' defense is, the Seahawks have players and they can score. And most of the Seahawks games and in the Cardinals games, they're right there in the 45 to 46 point range. They're right there. Another field goal, another touchdown gets you there. So I love the over, and I love the Cardinals in this game to snap their 5-game losing streak to the Seahawks.
I'm gonna update this just a little bit because now it's flipped. So just to update, now the Cardinals are -112. I'm just now looking, and the Seahawks are -108. So
what did the spread do? Is it still +1, -1?
Spread is now -1 Cardinals, +1 Seahawks.
I thought I saw that earlier too. It's literally a toss-em game. So he's looking on one side, I'm looking on a different side, just because we like to get different viewpoints.
Yeah, I got the originals off ESPN.
Okay, yeah, I was on Sports Illustrated.com, and I saw Cardinals at -1. You had them at +1. So yeah, it's literally a pick'em game. They can't put 0, so it's a 50-50 depending upon what books are looking at.
In this scenario, over under is still 47.5. In this, this is one that, listen, I would move it. I would still move it. You get +1 for the spread on the Cardinals. You're going to get it at -125. I don't think it's terrible in this scenario at all. So I would still take that. But I agree with you. That money line bet it's a strong bet in my opinion.
Yeah. Still take them to win. And Cardinals win on the over. Both in the over. Both in agreement on that one. Nice. All right,
there you go. On to the next.
All right, so now we're on to the Eagles and the Rams. This is going to be one of the marquee games of the week, obviously. That's why it's on Sunday night. 8-2 Eagles, 5-5 Rams. Eagles have won 6 in a row. Brady, I know how much you love those winning streaks. You know, they make for great bets, don't they? However, that being said, the Eagles are just – I think they're hitting their stride. Last year, they went the opposite way and, lost 7 in a row or whatever it was, 7 out of 8, 8 out of 9, including the playoffs. This year, I think with Saquon, they're a different team. And what they do that nobody can stop is they run the ball. They average 181 yards rushing per game, which is by far first. Second team in that list is the Ravens at 154 yards a game. So they have 30 more yards rushing per game. So they don't have to pass. They just run it down your throat. They'll wear you down, and they keep at it. We saw it last week against the Commanders. It really wasn't working in the first half. Saquon they were kind of bottling him up. They kept at it. They're going to pound the ball down the Rams' throat. Now, the one thing is, Stafford, believe it or not, he's 4-2 against the Eagles in his career. And he's thrown 12 touchdowns versus 1 interception. Those are stellar stats. Now, his current team, the Rams, are only 1-7 in the last 8 games against the Eagles. So there's kind of a dichotomy there. It's a weird stat line. But I still think the Eagles go on the road and get this done. And I think it goes under the 48.5 because last year, as bad as the Eagles were towards the end of the year, they won in LA by a score of 23-14, which is nowhere close to over 48.5. So I'll take the Eagles to win this game and the under.
Yeah, I agree with you as far as the Eagles pick goes. I think this is a bad match for the Rams. I think one of their main modes is moving the ball on the ground. Kyren Williams is a huge part of what they do. And obviously they have an elite passing game. We know that. You're taking in my eyes, this is the defense on the Eagles. And you know that I've been dogging this team for like 2 years now, saying they're not that great, which this year I'm kind of changing my tune because of Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
That simple fact, they are dominating on the ground. It's a different level.
Yeah, sorry, but to that point is, since they can dominate on the ground, they can rest their defense. And they're like the best defense since their bye week in their 6-game winning streak. They're the best defense in the NFL because of Saquon, and they can rest. So, yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to toss it out there.
Yeah, and just like you were saying, again, you said 181 yards on the ground?
Yes.
Yeah, and you've also got a Rams team that's giving up 127 on the ground per game. So it's a bad combination.
It's not good at all.
No, this is one of those that, hey, we've been talking about the My Way Challenge. This is going to be a game.
Oh, yeah.
You have so this is the way I always look at this when I break it down. If you have a deficiency on one side of the ball and you have a team that can exploit that deficiency on the other side of the ball, then you obviously have to look at something that's a little bit greater in that number, right? So that's going to give you the lower odds that you can base your whole stuff off of. So whether or not it's going to be like 35 to 50 yards for Saquon rushing and receiving, something that he does on a normal basis, and you're probably going to get it could be minus 500, minus 600. In my eyes, that's not bad because what we're doing is giving you 4 pieces, and that's a piece of that pie. And then you also have to look at these other little pieces. If Stafford is behind in the game and it becomes late in the game, he's going to have to throw. Teams can can wear down as the game goes on. So you have to think that a quarterback with that type of experience is going to, one, be able to get some mediocre yards, 125, 115 to 135 yards, somewhere in that range. You would think he's going to have to do that, barring injury or any setback like that. And then he has the receivers that definitely can get open against this defense, as good as they are. There's going to be holes, and these are the perfect players that can exploit the holes. So when you're putting these things together, you want a base, and then you want to build off the base, obviously. And this is a perfect game. You can build off of that. And so, but back to the game pick. Sorry to veer off into left field, but this, it's a bad matchup for the Rams. I think they're going to be behind late. I think they are going to be forced to pass, which tends to, no matter what you're sitting at, say it's 17 points and it's in the fourth quarter, I wouldn't be surprised if they are able to bring it back and still get it within that spread. It's just weirdness like that sometimes. But, again, I think Eagles in this one, and I'm going to take them. I will take them to cover that 3-point spread, though.
I will too, but real quick, to your point with the weirdness and stuff, the one saving grace the Rams might have in this game is the Eagles have 28 sacks on the year, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not bad. I think the league leaders have like 40 or so they're middle of the pack.
Right.
But they have the fourth lowest pressure rate, so they don't get to the quarterback. If Stafford has time with his receivers, he can pick them apart. But it's more of going to be a bend but don't break defense, to where I think they're going to be able to hold the Rams to field goals, which I hope so, because I have the Rams kicker on 2 of my fantasy teams. So it'd be great for me. But do you think that would, the fact they can't get to Stafford as much, maybe, and the Rams offensive line is finally healthy. They got all 5 of their starters back, for the first time this year. I still don't think it's going to be enough for the Rams to actually win this game.
You think it's
going?
You think it's
No, I still don't think it's going to be enough for the Rams to win the game. I think the Eagles push their winning streak to 7 games. I won't touch the spread, but I'll take the Eagles winning the game, and I'm confident that it goes under 49 points, because last year was 23-14. There's a Saquon element. Saquon's good for another touchdown, but I don't think the Rams put up like 28 points in this game to get it over the 48.5.
Yeah. For some reason, I do think Saquon probably does get a touchdown in this game, but I think this is one of those weird ones where I feel like if I pick Saquon to get a touchdown, Jalen Hurts is going to run it in. And I feel like if I pick Jalen Hurts to get the touchdown, Saquon's going to run it in. I'm going to be like, I knew that was going to happen. So it's kind of one of those, I like the yardage overs. Oh, yeah. Like if I'm doing one of those my way parlays, I like the yardage rather than picking a score in this one, even though sometimes that would work out, and it could. Kyron Williams, I can definitely see him getting down to like the 1 yard line on a pass play and him running it in from 1 yard out.
Yeah.
That's probably going to happen before Saquon. To be quite honest with you, it seems every time I pick one running back who it seems so obvious that they're going to score the touchdown, and then next thing you know, first drive down the field, the opposite team's running back scores the touchdown. It's
always happens.
I'm telling you. Sometimes I think that I should put that bet out to you people, and then you just pick against me, and I'll just forewarn you, just like, hey, you know how this shit goes.
That's the opposite. So we're on the same page this one. Eagles win this game, and we're pretty confident in the under.
Yep. Next one. All right, here we go. This is probably the best matchup of the week, in my opinion. Baltimore Ravens taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Ravens 7-4, Chargers 7-3. Money line plus 130 for the Chargers, minus 150 Ravens, minus 3 on the spread for Ravens, plus 3 for Chargers, over under 49.5. Damn. Oh man. This one, this is like a matchup between. It's just a matchup of who shows up. Honestly, like both teams are strong in the same departments. J.K. Dobbins is an excellent running back. Obviously, what we saw him do, which, by the way, buddy, love you. Killed it last week. That last play, man, when he pulled off that touchdown.
Awesome.
That was one of those, if I had it on camera, it would have been a great moment to savor and watch again. But I loved it. He's a solid running back. He can do a little bit of both. He's catching out of the backfield. But on the other hand, how do you say that any team is legitimately, even if you do stop him, which remember when we said this team could stop him, the Browns, when we did that whole thing, that is a rare thing. And obviously nobody is stopping him from scoring. So I'm 100%, I'm not going to bet against him not scoring this game. I think that he is the one person that you're dependent on to get a touchdown. If you were going to put a touchdown bet in each week, I would just put it in until he doesn't do it. Honestly, it may sound stupid. I get it. But at this point, I said quite a few games in a row that you can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this. And he keeps doing this and he keeps doing this. So he obviously can.
It's breaking records.
And the Chargers are a killer defense right now, playing top notch. You got the battle of the Harbaughs here. This is going to be epic.
The Harbaugh Bowl.
Yeah. And we saw this before, and it's a great game. It's going to be a great game, and it's anybody's game. That's the thing that I like about this game in particular, because as good as I think the Ravens are, and Josh, I'm going strictly off of I know you've got some killer stats that you're going to bust out, so I can't wait to hear them. But I am going straight off of a more looking at the books type thing here. And I think this should be closer. And maybe, hold on, let me check this again just to make sure that I didn't give you some erroneous information here. But I feel like this – okay. It's changed just slightly. Right now, it's the Chargers at plus 120, the Ravens at minus 142. So, again, that was a little wide, but I think this game is gonna be, again, who shows up. Week after week, we've seen that Derrick Henry is gonna show up. He's gonna do his thing. He's gonna get his running yards. If there's any deficiency in the Chargers defense, I think it's more there, and I think he can exploit that running game just a little bit more than, even though Lamar he's proving that he is quite the passer in this offense. I think that this is a game that it's going to be more dependent on who's better, Derrick Henry for the Ravens or Herbert for the Chargers. I think it boils down to who performs better out of those two guys, because in this game in particular, I do think the running game is going to lack on the Chargers side.
Yes.
Last week, Dobbins had some issues before he busted out that big run. This is a better defense. These guys are going to be more equipped to stop the run, and I think that's why it's going to boil down to, can Herbert do it? Does he have enough on the weapons is my main thing. Does he have the weapons to beat this team? I don't have any doubt that he can deliver the ball and get it to where it needs to go. He's got a cannon, accuracy. He's a great quarterback. And I've seen this could be one of those games where it's a perfect underdog scenario where you bet the underdog, and it could be a perfect bet. You look like a genius because they blow it out of the water. But in this particular instance, even though, and you know what, I am going to do it. I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game. I think they're going to end up beating the Ravens, even though I I don't think many people really care about the Chargers in Los Angeles, but I think this is the perfect game that if you do come out and win this game, if you manage to win this game, this may change a lot of people's opinions about you in your own city. So I am going to go with, and I'm kind of rooting for this in a way. I kind of am. I think I'm going Chargers on the money line on this one, even at that plus 120. But honestly, I think I would wait because this may actually get wider, and you may go back to that 130 and get it again at the plus 130. But if you want it now, I would say take the Chargers on the money line. I'm a big fan of the Chargers at plus 3 spread. What do you say?
Oh, yeah, me too. So, again, Harbaugh Bowl.
And just so you know, I would go under the 49.5 for that one, my pick. But, yeah.
Solid points, Brady. We're going to agree in this game wholeheartedly. I love the Chargers in this game. Justin Herbert is becoming the superstar quarterback right before our eyes that we've been waiting for 5 years. We all knew he had the talent. Now you got Jim Harbaugh coaching him up. In the first half of the year, they ran the ball a lot. They went on their bye week, got shit organized, and now they come out and they're one of the most pass-happy teams because Herbert can sling it with the best of them. He went toe-to-toe with Burrow last week and came out on top. The Ravens have a terrible pass defense. It's horrible. And, yeah, the Chargers, receivers, receiving core, pass catchers, whatever you want to call them, they're not the greatest. But Herbert is elevating all of them to where they're not only relevant in winning games, they're fantasy relevant for those that play fantasy too. So Herbert is slinging it all over the place. He's going to have a field day with this Ravens pass defense. They're not going to be able to run the ball, but he's going to be able to throw it all over the place. So I love the plus 130, nice as plus 120. I would hammer that all day long. And here's a couple stats to back up this number. So the Chargers are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games. That's actually a big number if you think about it, okay? Now, the Ravens are 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 road games versus Chargers. But they're not – this is a totally different Chargers team. You know, the term chargering, them, you know, missing a field goal at the end of the game or losing by a field goal that's happened for the past decade or honestly pretty much our whole lives. They've always lost heartbreakers all the time. That script is flipping in a matter of 10 games with Jim Harbaugh running the show. And also, the Chargers are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 home games. All right? The Ravens are 4-1 against the Chargers in their last 5 games. They beat them 20-10 back in 2023. Again, that's before Jim Harbaugh showed up. And so I love the Chargers to win this game straight up. The money line is a great bet. I mean, the spread, if you want to push the plus 3 spread, that's fine. But I'll take them to win the game. And here's the thing, too. Brady mentioned the under, which we're on the same page there, too, because these teams have not hit 50 combined points since 2015. That's been 9 years. Now, they've only played 5 times in those 9 years or 6 times or whatever it is. So it's not a huge sample size, but by football means it is a huge sample size. And you got Johnny Harbaugh, they're defensive coaches. So, yeah, Chargers win and hammer the under. And this may be my hair lock of the week. We're not sure yet, but it might be.
I can't wait to hear what you're going to pick on that one, by the way. Hey, just to let you know, update, the over-under is now 51.
51? Why did that go up? Oh, I would take that all day long. I know it's indoors, but the Chargers defense showed me a lot, man. They showed me a lot. 51 is
that's a big.
These are ground and pound teams still.
Dude, what was the highest over-under this year? I feel like it was
52 and a half or 53 and a half.
I thought it was 54.
So to me, it may have been. So
that seemed really
that's
high.
Weird that it's gone up because that weird is going up because I think the Bengals have a better passing game than the Ravens do. Now, the Ravens are a better team, so I get it. And it's indoors. It's Monday night. They have an extra day of rest, so I can see it going over. But now that it went up 1.5, I like the under even better. I think this is going to be a ground and pound, let's show them we can do game. And the Chargers just ran into – last week, they just ran into a bit of a lull in the second half. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to correct that to where, hey, man, we were up, 26-7 or whatever it was, and we almost lost the game. That's not happening again under Jim Harbaugh. That's not going to happen. So I think this is going to be total points in the 45 to 48 range. So now it's at 51 points. Even though they're great offenses, I just think it's going to be more of a defensive battle than people realize because it's the Harbaughs against each other. Now I know their Super Bowl was pretty high scoring too, so we could be way wrong on the over under. Now that it's going up, that seems kind of more wishy washy to me. So I would kind of avoid that bet overall, but still love the Chargers to win the game.
I mean, I like it even more that it has gone up on the underside of it because I've
more wiggle room.
I've seen if either one of these teams has an off game offensively, which I do think the Ravens are the more likely to score a lot of points. But in my eyes, if they're off a little bit, the Chargers can take advantage of that. And I don't think that the Chargers are going to score a ton of points, but I think they can score enough. But
right.
I just the under on the 51 seems to me, I would take that, especially especially just going off of it started out at 49.5.
Yeah.
I know you're going to see some swings, but I think you may see a swing back because I think you're at the end, you always seem to see the handicappers taking that bet right back to where it should be. And I think that you're going to see it revert back a little bit.
Well, and let's make I'll further evaluate on that point. If it goes at 51 points, in my mind, Joe Burrow is a better passer than Lamar Jackson is. He's a better passer of the football, okay? So if the Chargers get up a little bit, they're going to take Derrick Henry out of the game. The Chargers have a good defense. You said if the Ravens get off script or get thrown off balance, they kind of lose their way. We saw it last week against the Steelers. That's exactly what happened. So Derrick Henry gets bottled up, or if they're down by 14 points and he's out of the game, and the Chargers are going to be able to throw the ball on this defense. That's going to happen. I mean, in parlays or betting-wise, if you can get Herbert at 275 yards, he's going to blow way past that number. He's going to blow way past 300 yards in this game. So to that point, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is not a passer. If he gets down by 10 points, he cannot pass that team back into the game to win it. It's been proven throughout his career. So I love it even more. Yeah, I'll still say the under, but most importantly, the Chargers win the game.
Yeah, I agree with it. I think the Chargers do win this game. But, man, this is going to be – there's a lot of games, obviously, that are lopsided. But then you got a game like this, and there's a couple others thrown in there that it could be a good betting spot for some good plays, good parlays. But then it could be one of those that your easiest pick will destroy your whole parlay. So
true.
Be very careful.
Yeah, we're not hitting them all, people.
Yeah, we're here too. You know what? We're going to try, though. So we're going to give it our best shot. We'll be back with Josh's lock of the week for his hair lock of the week. However he wants to put his hair on the line. We're going to see if it goes and extends another week. But I know we'll see what he picks this time. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but we'll see. But if you have stayed with us this long, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. We have enjoyed coming out here and doing this for you guys. Gives us a chance to talk about some games coming up. We love doing that. So appreciate you all watching. Hit the like and subscribe. Help us grow. Keep getting better. We got some more stuff coming. But until then, we will see you very soon. We'll have some more picks. We'll try and get our bets out to you very soon so you can get those loaded up and ready for your action this weekend. Until then, check out the My Way Parlay Challenge. We got that up. It's in there. I'm going to try and put up an alternative to that. We'll discuss that. And until then, Josh, any parting words?
Leave some comments and let us know we can do better. If you like it, if you don't like it, tell us what you think. And happy Wednesday. Let's get to the weekend, and then let's get into next week. And it's holiday season, so let's go.
Yeah, baby. It's going to be Thanksgiving time. We'll have a lot of stuff coming up. So
yep.
We'll see you soon. Peace out. Keep balling.
Yep. See ya.